Welcome to Spiritual Happy Hour, where we serve spirits. Go get yourself a drink. No.
I don't think that line works.
It only works
the first
for
time.
us.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget that the cameras are rolling.
Yes.
we do play around a lot. But anyway, welcome to Spiritual Happy Hour.
In Spiritual Happy Hour, during this time, we want to thank the Master Randy Luna for our theme song, which, if you listen to other Spiritual Happy Hours, you will realize that it's just a little different each time he plays it.
Wait a second. There are other Spiritual Happy Hours?
They're all on YouTube.
Oh.
Go to Marilyn Harper, Adironda, or Adironda.
Our other Spiritual Happy Hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just clarifying.
What were we talking about?
Uh,
Anyway.
So the reason we do Spiritual Happy Hour is because we want to remind you that you are love. And we want you to go into the week feeling like love. And
we want to thank the Master Randy Luna for his original music that he placed in the middle of Spiritual Happy Hour, plus at the beginning and at the end. And we have a message.
We do. We have an exercise today.
And we get a message from Adironda and the Council of Light. And if you don't know who Adironda and the Council of Light are, Google them.
Stick around because today's message is called Holy Instant, Adironda.
Oh, my goodness. What could that possibly mean? I'm a little nervous.
Well, Marilyn, do you think you have any superpowers?
Yeah.
What's your superpower?
Enthusiasm.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, in A Course in Miracles, which we often quote, lesson 38, it says, "There's nothing my holiness cannot do," which to me tells all of us that we have superpowers. Mighty and massive superpowers, and you have them too, and you have them too.
I do, and so do you.
And so
do you.
What do you think yours is? Anyone watching this right now, type it into the chat. Share your superpower with us. Because if you can nail today's lesson in your life, if you truly understand this single lesson, you've mastered the course.
Oh, I love that.
And you use your superpowers in the holy instant. Now, the holy instant is the moment that you thought you were separate from God. It's that fraction of a second when you choose to accept the energy of love over fear and unity, or being connected to everything, over separation, being alone in the world. The only reason the world stays the way it is because we focus our superpowers on what we don't want. Most of the world has a knee-jerk reaction based upon past programming and experiences that aren't always positive. And this happened to me the other day. I nearly missed the holy instant. But it wasn't for me. It was for Splash, the fish. Remember her? In Spiritual Happy Hour number 19, called What Size is Your Fish Tank? I introduced you to Splash, the little tropical fish in a tiny pet shop tank who dreamed of being a deep ocean champion swimmer. And if you haven't heard it, find it on YouTube and listen to it, because it's all about paradigm shifts and how to achieve your dreams. And Splash was having a really hard time figuring out how to become a deep ocean swimmer. She was doing all the right things, but nothing was working. The problem was the size of Splash's tank. It wasn't exactly the ocean. It was tiny, and she believed it was keeping her small and depressed. And her life kind of sucked because Splash didn't realize she could simply change her paradigm or her fish tank and become that deep sea champion. And then in the channeled message, Adironda explained that because Splash was focusing on the feeling of already being that deep sea champion swimmer, even while still in that little fish tank, her owner decided that she wanted a different fish. That's why you got to stick around for Adironda's messages. They're expansive. So Splash's owner took Splash and threw her in the ocean. Okay, So radical transparency here. For a moment, when Adironda said that, I was sitting off stage over there and I was horrified. I thought, oh my God, poor Splash. Her owner just threw her away. And then I had a holy instant. I thought, wait a second. Splash was thrown into the ocean. Oh my God, Splash's dream can now come true. Go Splash. Sometimes I just really crack myself up. Poor little Boyne. I had a knee-jerk reaction of little Splash being a victim of her owner. That's the symbol for victim in American Sign Language. Randy taught me that. Well, Splash's owner, completely unbeknownst to herself, just shifted Splash's paradigm. Or did Splash do it? Splash didn't do it physically, but the universe made it happen upon Splash's request. Has this ever happened to you? It happened to me. I'll tell you about it in a minute. I mean, I didn't see that coming with Splash. I kept thinking about, how can Splash get out of that little fish tank? She can't just jump. She can't walk to the ocean. How could it possibly happen? I was having a cute little human moment. And that's the problem. Most of us immediately try to figure out how to make something happen. We focus on the limitation and how to overcome it rather than just focusing on our superpower on exactly what we want. When Splash just proved to us via Adironda's conclusion that Splash didn't have to do anything other than just continue to dream and feel into already being that deep ocean powerhouse swimmer. And bam! The next thing she knows, she's in the ocean. Most of the world won't take the time. We don't make the effort to change our habit of negative thinking. Most of the world struggles, fights, and thinks they have to fix the problems. And lesson number 40 from the Course says, I am blessed as a child of the universe. In other words, I'm entitled to being happy and peaceful and so very loved. And my dreams will come true because I feel them. Just knowing this and thinking about this and feeling this way causes your energy to vibrate at a different frequency than most of the world. Knowing that you are entitled to live a life of joy and feeling into that blessed child of the universe is being one with God. Anything else is separation, and you are not separate from God. The Course says, the separated ones have invented many cures for what they perceive to be the ills of the world, but the one thing they do not do is question the reality of the problem. I mean, think about Splash. Splash could have focused on the fact that if she lives in a little fish tank and it's not the ocean, then she's never going to be a deep ocean swimmer, period. Now, in Splash's case, remember, the fish tank is just a metaphor for a paradigm. And paradigms are like umbrellas under which everything we do makes sense to us. They are, in fact, the reasons we do things the way we do them. So if Splash believed in her current paradigm that she's limited to a tiny fish tank, then she'd never realize her dream. It would be impossible. But in Adironda's story, Splash wasn't focused on the fish tank. Splash focused on the dream and how it would feel to be a powerful swimmer in the deep ocean. In the spiritual happy hour where I introduced you to Splash, the one called What Size is Your Fish Tank, I also gave you 4 steps to shifting your paradigm to get that bigger fish tank. If you know what they were, type them into the chat. This is interactive. Basically, they were step 1, tell yourself a different story, a better one, a positive one. Step 2, focus on how you'll feel when your dream has happened. Step 3, be grateful always. Everything has a silver lining. Look for it. See it as a gift. Gratitude is the abracadabra of the universe. And step 4, celebrate the wins, big and small. You've got the tools. And one of the things I mentioned in the last talk was that you must begin where you are right now. This is critical because if you don't believe the story that you're telling yourself, then you get the opportunity to change your beliefs and change your bracelet. And this doesn't always happen overnight. I don't know if I can do this while I'm holding this microphone. This is a process. This is tricky. It didn't immediately happen for Splash. She did all kinds of different programs. She read every book. She practiced diligently for years and years and years, and she never really became any better of a swimmer than she already was. So I'm guessing that from the time I introduced you to Splash to the time Adironda gave it a new, much better ending, Splash believed a different story about herself. Thank God for Splash. It didn't really matter that I questioned Splash's predicament of being thrown into the ocean, at least for that moment, because what I believe about Splash doesn't affect Splash's dreams. Splash has to believe it. And apparently Splash did. Good on Splash. In Greg Kuhn's book, Why Quantum Physicists Do Not Fail, which is where the first part of Splash's story came from, Greg offers a powerful exercise where you can figure out your true feelings about your dreams or desires, feelings that may actually be blocking you from that dream. If you've ever wanted something for a long time, and like Splash, you've done everything you can think of to achieve it, but it still has not showed up in your life, you may find this helpful. I'll use myself as an example, and I'll use the word boyfriend. When I first left my marriage, I purposely spent a year not dating. I wasn't sure what I wanted in a relationship because I wasn't sure I knew myself yet. I definitely knew what I didn't want. Eventually, I did begin dating again, and I dated a few people, but quite often I'd find that when we were supposed to talk on the phone or go out, I really didn't want to. I'd rather just hang out with my girlfriends. They were fun. We laughed a lot, and I didn't feel responsible for them or like I had to entertain them. And after one last attempt at a relationship, I said, I think I'm good. Meaning, I don't really need a man in my life. I'm fine on my own. And I remember one day talking to Marilyn about it, telling her I think I just want to be on my own. I don't really want to be married again or even be in a relationship with a man. Then I said something that was key. I said, I just want to have fun. I want a friend, someone who likes the same outdoor activities I like. I want to play. I want someone to ride bikes with and to laugh with and to work on projects that I like with. And without actually thinking about it, I really felt it for a moment. I think even Marilyn could tell you that she witnessed me feeling it. And guess what? 2 weeks later, I met that person, Carl. I call him Carlicious because that's what he is in my life. Absolutely yummy. He's the most fun man I've ever been with, and we play and we laugh and we laugh. I mean, he actually thinks I'm funny. And we're completely remodeling our home and yard together, and we work together. It's just one continuous play date. And this all happened within about 6 months. And now, 2.5 years later, we're engaged to be married. Remember, I didn't even think I wanted to be married again. And I have just as much fun with him now as I did when we met. What I realized during this process was that my belief, or my fish tank, was that my husband would need to be my prince. He'd take care of me and adore me, and we'd have the perfect little family. That was my belief. Cinderella, that's how I was raised. That was my training. Marriage was a fairy tale. And my first husband did adore me, and we did have the perfect little family, but he did not take care of me. The truth is, I didn't need anyone to take care of me. I'm pretty self-sufficient, and I'm fiercely independent. And this created resentment and division. It wasn't in alignment with what we both wanted in a relationship. So let's do that exercise I talked about earlier. Grab a piece of paper and write down a word or two for whatever your dream is. What is it you want? that's currently not happening. You got your paper? Okay. In my case, I wanted a boyfriend. I wasn't sure I ever wanted to get married again. Next, I want you to get still for a moment and look at that word you just wrote down and listen to your emotional reaction to that word. I mean, listen deep. What is your mind really telling you? Because it can be sneaky. Please, no offense to any of you men out there. When I got quiet back then, my emotional reaction was actually something like this. Men are expensive. I just want to focus on my retirement. Men take too much time away from things that I enjoy doing. They're needy. I'll have to compromise. It's a lot of work, too. Too many mind games. I never know for sure what's going on, and it's exhausting. I'll have to entertain them. That was my fish tank, my paradigm. Those were my beliefs at the time. Right or wrong, they were blocking me from my Carlicious. Mostly because I was still in my old fish tank of what I had thought about marriage, and boyfriends lead to marriage, right? Can you see how that might not be in alignment with finding the next love of my life? Yeah, because those beliefs create feelings that create a vibration that causes my superpowers to bring in exactly a partner who matches those attributes. This is why it never really works to write down all of the things that you want in a relationship. Instead, simplify and focus on the feeling. It wasn't working for me until I just gave up. I said, I'm fine. I'm good. I think I'd just rather hang out with my girlfriends. They're fun. They make me laugh. Right then, I created relationship with fun, and I shifted my paradigm. Right then, I had a holy instant. When I met Carl, my sweetie, I was not thinking of having a relationship. We were actually working together on a project, and it was during COVID. We were online streaming a program. I was producing, he was directing and streaming, each of us in a different location across the country. We were texting each other to check in on the progress of the program, and he started joking with me. I thought it was hilarious. It was a 3-day online program that we worked together on, texting, and by the end of the 3 days, I had so much fun. I had actually fallen in love over texts. Sounds crazy, right? We still have the text thread. I asked him if he wanted to have a virtual date because it was COVID and he was somewhere else, and he said no. He said, I want a real date. And 3 weeks later, during the pandemic, he got on a plane and came out to see me, and we've been together ever since. Single people ask me all of the time, how did you two meet? The funny thing is, he had decided to be single, same as me, a couple years earlier. He had been divorced for about 6 years, and his brother had asked him, don't you want to be with someone? Do you think you'll ever be in another relationship? And he said, no, I'm good. I'm really okay with being on my own. It's peaceful. You see, I think for both of us, we had quit trying to be in a relationship, and we both wanted peace. We wanted happiness, and we weren't seeing that possibility in a boyfriend or a girlfriend, even if that meant being on our own, and we were okay with that. And that's when it happened. Neither one of us were looking for an intimate relationship or marriage, but we were open to love. Nina Hagen said, we can change the world if we start trusting our own superpowers. I really believe that, and so does Carl. In fact, we both always have this stretchy blue bracelet on. It reads, everything is possible. And it works just like our awareness bracelets. And if you want one, just send an email to info@adironda.com and we'll send you one. You just pay a few bucks for shipping. If we find ourselves thinking a negative thought with anything in our world, like, I can't afford it, I don't have time, I'm overwhelmed, we just switch that bracelet from one wrist to the other because now we're aware of the negative thought. And we just sent a message to our brain that said, not on my watch. because we want to break the habit of negative thinking because we've experienced how mighty and massive our superpowers are. And the first step in breaking a habit is awareness. Then we feel into what we'd rather have. Fun! In practicing this every day, you become better and better about catching yourself in the holy instant. Remember the lesson. There's nothing your holiness cannot do. You have mighty and massive superpowers. If you nail this one lesson, you've mastered the course because you're blessed as a child of the universe and entitled to being happy and peaceful and already so very loved. You'll create those dreams. So right now, let's take a moment to center yourself, get comfortable, get quiet, and think about what you dream of that seems to be blocked. What word or words do you want to break through? And as you listen to the music of Master Randy Luna, see what kind of emotions come up for you around that word that you wrote down. Maybe it's time to tell a different story. And after that, Adironda will have a special message for all of us.
So it is good day to you, huh? And it's good day to you, good day to you, good day to you, good day to each and every one of you, huh? It is a very good day in your world as long as you are feeling that it is a good day in your world. And if you're feeling that it is not so much of a good day, then that is what you are creating. And why would you do that? Our little story of Splash shows you that. You know, you cannot be limited by what you see around you in current reality. So feel into what you're asking. Feel into the feelings. That's the first step in creating anything. And you do not have to spend 3 hours and light the candle and light the incense and go out under the full moon and do the little naked dance and lift your leg up and put your tongue out or do anything like that. All you have to do is just state it, feel it, and it is so. Feel it, state it, and it is so. Trust. Trust so completely that the universe has your back. Trust so completely that everything is in divine order. Trust so completely that poor little Splash that got thrown out into the ocean did learn to be a big fish in a big ocean. And that is the amazing part. And you know, sometimes it may take a little energy for the universe to work its way through. So we're going to tell you another aspect of the story, of the Carol and Joy story. Our vessel Marilyn wanted to tell it, but we are going to. For you see, the first time we met Carol, he had these 2 beautiful young women hanging off of his every word. They were doing whatever he said, and the Joy looked at him and didn't give him the time of day, because that is that prejudgment thing. When you look at one thing and you think that reality is this, it may not be, or it may be. There's always 2 sides to every story. And she says, he's a typical L.A. person, has these hot young women all over him, right? 1 year later, he was indeed the video person again for Lee Carroll and our event, the Channeling Retreat, which is now recorded on the website. And we do not ask, the vessel Marilyn says, well, where are those 2 women that you had with you before? And he said, my daughters? So you see, what may be current reality may not be the actual reality that you make up the story about that it is. But then at the same time, we don't want you to get the wrong idea. The 2 of them were not ready for that relationship. Do you understand what we're saying? The universe waited a year until both of them were ready for the relationship where they'd both thought, we're not even interested. I just want to have fun. And that is how it manifests. You see, it is a matter of letting go of all of the details. It is a matter of shifting your consciousness, which we understand against all of you Virgo people that plan out every moment and organize all your pencils going in the right direction. That is fine. You can do that. But then you'll just let go of it. Then you get to let go of how those pencils get on your desk in the first place. Do you see what we say? That is the key, is you get the opportunity to trust God, the universe, source, whatever. The Vessel and the Joy and the Carol, phonologist Fink and Rando were just talking a few moments ago about how Rando plays this amazing music. That he does not plan out a note, he does not write a thing. He feels into the music. You can watch him. He goes over the piano keyboard, connects in with the intention, and then simply allows Spirit to create through him. Take a deep breath. Every moment, Spirit is creating through you, as you. Spirit is creating as your every thought. You understand what we are saying? It is that instance of time that you ask for something, and then, the universe may have something better in mind. We know the joy could never have created someone like Carol in her life because of the old paradigm. So she had to let go of that old paradigm and simply be present with what was. So what are you being present with? What did you ask? What word did you say that then you meditated on? Huh? We know our vessel Marilyn did. She picked a word. She picked 2 words, actually. Good health. For you see, a few months ago, the doctor gave her a good bill of health and said, oh, your heart is near normal size. Everything is going in the right direction. And so she sort of freaked out a bit. And she thought, well, if my heart is near normal size, why do I need this medicine? Why do I need this medicine? What is this for? So what does she need? Aha, this medicine, huh? You see what we say? Instead of saying, oh, I'm so thankful. Everything is moving in the right direction. We don't know what is coming of it. We don't know how it is coming through, but it is. That is the key. That is your wisdom. That is the wisdom of the source of all that is. That is indeed working step by step by step by step. Through you, to you, within you, and all around you. Put the key into the lock. Jump out of the fish tank. Jump into the big ocean. You will always find what is divinely best for you. For that is the divine plan. Oh, dearest beings of light, we love you so much. We see you, we know you, we feel you, each of you. We are you. And we bid you namaste. Namaste.